Welcome to Mastering PSLE Maths with Tutiply.
Okay, so for this question, when Jane started jogging from her home, Linda was 1.2 kilometers ahead. So Jane jogged at 10 kilometers per hour and Linda walked at 4 kilometers per hour. They went the same direction and did not change their speeds throughout. So for part A, they're asking us about how far did Jane jog in 45 minutes. Okay, so for our part A, let's recall our distance, speed, and time triangle, okay? So we have distance on top, then we have speed and time at the bottom, right? So basically the two at the bottom, they multiply with each other, they'll get distance at the top. Then distance divided by any of either one at the bottom will get the other one. So let's say distance divided by speed, I'll get time. Okay, then for part A, they're asking us distance, right? Because how far did Jane jog in 45 minutes? So it's about distance. So there will be speed times time, right? So let's see. Jane's speed is 10 kilometers per hour. Correct? Then the time is 45 minutes. Okay, so let's take note. In speed, right, they give us in terms of kilometers per hour, right? So our time should be in hours also. So, okay, so distance Jane jog equals to 10 kilometers per hour times. So 45 minutes I must convert into hours, right? So how do I do that? I divide by 60. This will give me in terms of hours. So 10 kilometers per hour times 45 over 60 hours, I'll get 7.5 kilometers. So Jane jogged 7.5 kilometers in 45 minutes. Okay, so for part B, who was ahead after 45 minutes and how far apart were they? Okay, so let's draw a distance line, okay, to visualize. Okay, so at the start, right, so we have, so this is, let's label as home. At the start, it was at home. Then, okay, I'll use two different colors. Let's say I use blue, okay. So Jane started jogging from her home, right? So Jane was, at the start, Jane was here. Then for Linda was 1.2 kilometers ahead, over here. So Linda would be maybe around here. So Linda. Okay, so the distance between Jane and Linda at the start, right? It will be 1.2 kilometers. Okay, then after 45 minutes, right, what happens? Okay, so let's draw another line below this. After 45 minutes. So after 45 minutes, we know that Jane jogged 7.5 kilometers, right? After 45 minutes. We calculated that in part A. So, okay, so Jane jogged 7.5 kilometers. So let's say this is Jane now. Okay, so this would be 7.5 kilometers for Jane. Okay, then for Linda, okay, I draw a dotted line down, right? So I will get from here to here is 1.2 kilometers. So this was the distance that Linda had ahead of Jane at the very start. Okay, then now let's figure out how far did Linda move after 45 minutes. We haven't calculated that before, right? So let's see. Linda walked at 4 kilometers per hour. So distance, okay, so distance, Linda walked equals to 4 kilometers per hour times 45 minutes, right? But once again, must convert into hours, so divide by 60 hours. So 4 kilometers times 45 over 60, I'll get 3 kilometers. So you know that Linda walked another 3 kilometers in 45 minutes. So Linda is purple, okay. So Linda at first walked 1.2 kilometers, right? Then she walked another 3 kilometers. So okay, so 1.23 kilometers. So maybe it'll be somewhere here. This 3 km. right? Because 1.2 plus 3 km, right? The total distance total distance Linda has from the home is less than Jane's distance 7.5 km. That's why Linda is to the left of Jane. Okay, so now we can see that. So who was ahead, right? We can see that Jane was ahead. Because Jane moved a total of 7.5 km from home. But Linda is just 1.2 plus 3 km. So how far apart were they? Okay, so I'll take 7.5 km minus 1.2 km minus 3 km, right? That's how I find a difference. So 7.5 minus 1.2 minus 3, that gives me 3.3 km. So the distance apart was 3.3 km.